Every day, across the world, founders sit in the same loops, trapped by the invisible chains of traditional fundraising, pitching for hours, hoping some investor finally gives them a green light. That nagging feeling is real. Being at the mercy of strangers who hold your dream's fate, watching how every yes or no twists your future. You feel it in your bones. The endless chase to raise capital is a slow bleed, draining your time, your energy, your hope. It's like handing over a piece of your soul every single time, only to realize you're building someone else's vision instead of your own. The late nights spent tweaking decks, the exhausting back and forth, the vague promises. It's exhausting. It's crushing. Why is it always this way? Why does the very system designed to ignite innovation feel like a cage? Imagine this. What if raising capital without investors wasn't just a crazy idea, but the new way everyone builds? Picture a world where founders hold their own power, where passion funds passion without begging for validation, where the blood, sweat, and tears you pour into your vision aren't filtered through the egos and interests of others first, but instead flow directly back into your dream, fueled by a network that gets your fire. Because here's the brutal truth. Investors often aren't on your side. Their primary interest? Getting returns, winning bets, protecting themselves from risk. And yeah, sometimes they can be partners, but more often, they're gatekeepers who keep you small, stuck, compliant. The current model shackles ambition. It forces extraordinary people into ordinary boxes. It demands compromises that suffocate brilliance. And what do we get in exchange? The illusion of progress, the myth of fairness, an endless treadmill where the loudest voices get the biggest slices, not necessarily the most deserving. If this stings, it's because it is a wound. But recognizing this wound means it's time to heal it differently. To break free from the script and write your own story. Raising capital without investors isn't about rejecting funding. It's about redefining where power lives. It's about tapping into a network of individuals who see your vision not as collateral, but as a shared mission. No more chasing, no more begging. Real capital comes from collaboration, from symbiotic relationships where value flows both ways, where risks aren't shouldered by a few, but shared by many. People who invest in you because they believe in what you're becoming. This kind of capital is radical, it's raw, and it's wildly empowering. It starts with breaking the invisible rules that say you need a shiny term sheet to validate your worth. You need to question the story you've been told about what capital is. Capital isn't just money, it's connection, skill, trust, reputation, sweat equity, shared risk, shared reward. Why hand over a chunk of your company when you can leverage alliances that are built on mutual respect, aligned visions, and collective impact? It's about finding those rare individuals who burn as you do, who don't just write checks but roll up their sleeves and build beside you. Think about communities that actually work, not filler networks, but fiercely selective groups where every member amplifies the other. They handcraft opportunity rather than scale noise. These networks don't reinforce the status quo, they shatter it. When you align with people who challenge you, who spark your fire instead of smothering it, something extraordinary happens. You stop needing permission. You start creating momentum that isn't dependent on outsiders' approval. This is how movements are born, how revolutions start, and how true progress emerges. From the edges, not the center. This new norm means embracing multiple streams of capital: intellectual capital, cultural capital, social capital, and weaving them into a powerful web. Imagine collaborating with builders who bring skills, with visionaries who bring ideas, with operators who can execute. Money alone can never build the future. It's the people and the relationships behind it, the chemistry of aligned drive and shared goals, that turn concepts into reality faster and more sustainably. But none of this happens by accident. It demands ruthless selectivity. You cannot afford to waste time with the comfortable or the complacent. Those who settle for what the system offers have already lost. Instead, focus your energy on those few who refuse to live borrowed lives, who are not afraid to burn and rebuild, who question everything and seek transformation. This very selectivity creates a powerful filter, one that filters out noise and distraction and leaves you with the core essence of what matters: a network of outsiders, rebels, creators who refuse to be processed or optimized away. Here's something critical. Patience is part of the game. This shift isn't a quick win. It's a long, grinding climb where every connection must be earned and every alliance nurtured. But the reward? Being sovereign, owning your story, transforming your reality on your terms. No more living off crumbs handed down by gatekeepers. No more sacrificing your soul for shallow acceptance. For those willing to play for eternity, to play the long game, the prize is immense. True power, true freedom, true creation. None of this means you reject investors altogether. It means you don't start there. You crown yourself first. You build a fortress of autonomy around your vision so strong it demands respect. Then, if investors come knocking, it's on your terms. Not because you begged, but because your network and momentum make saying no a real option. Because true strength is not measured by who controls your fate. It's measured by whether you can stand tall without needing anyone's permission. The world is littered with myths about fundraising. It tells you you need investors to win, and for many, that feels like the only option. But that narrative keeps the rare ones out. It keeps the misaligned fractured. It turns brilliance into a commodity auctioned off to the highest bidder. Breaking this narrative takes courage, the courage to reject comfort, to defy consensus, to unlearn what's been drilled into you since day one. It takes an obsession with becoming rather than belonging, with leading rather than following. This is why building your own autonomous network matters. It's not just a practical strategy, it's a declaration that you refuse to live in the system's shadow any longer. By connecting with the few who burn as you do, by embedding yourself in a circle that honors radical difference instead of suppressing it, you create a new kind of capital, one that's untouchable by manipulation or compromise. It's a capital forged in alignment, amplified in synergy. In this new space, founders no longer play a game defined by others. They create the game itself. Investors who understand this shift don't seek control, they seek partnership. And founders who build this web don't chase funding, they attract it magnetically. Here's the challenge. This norm won't arrive softly. It demands reshaping reality, redefining what's normal, dismantling old beliefs, and constructing new frameworks for what capital means. If you feel that quiet tension inside, that feeling that you were meant for more than the grind, beyond waiting for someone else's nod, it's no accident. It's your fire calling. It's your invitation to build differently, to fund autonomously, to rewrite the rules. Everything depends on whether you dare to walk the edge, to become the exceptional, to build capital that serves your growth, your freedom, and your vision, not the other way around. Because when founders no longer depend solely on investors, when capital flows as an ecosystem of power and connection, rather than as cold currency filtered through gatekeepers, the future is no longer a distant dream. It becomes a relentless, unstoppable force, propelled by those brave enough to claim what's theirs. Reject the old story, own your capital, build your network, become your own norm.